Alright guys, how you doing? Chris here with Armatan Quads. I just want to make a quick video to show you this guy here. This is latest design by Andrew, who's been chief designer for Armatan for quite some time now. We posted some renderings of this in one of the Armatan threads on RC groups, and then some guys were, I guess, not overly convinced about this. And I'll have to admit I wasn't myself. I felt that weight was very important, and that perhaps it was moving away from the Morphite design quite a bit compared to what the current design is. And so a lot of guys mentioned, you know, they were worried about the Morphite perhaps being replaced with this. So I'll just say you don't need to worry about that. The Morphite that we currently have is there, and it's there to stay. A lot of guys really enjoy that model, so we don't plan on phasing that out. And then also you need to keep in mind that with the new venture we're coming up with very soon with Armatan Productions, there's not really going to be any parts that we've ever designed that are going to be you know, discontinued or phased out, because we're going to be able to cut any basically older parts, current parts, and also any kind of modifications you'd like to have done on the design. We'll be able to do that for you. Now on to talking about this little gem here a bit more. We've got 180 millimeter from mortar to mortar. The mortar mounts are, if I'm not mistaken, you can put 1306s and an 1806s mortars on this. They're basically mortar slots from 12 to 16 millimeter across. And this is with the shorter arms. And then with the longer arms, this is the longer version arm here. And of course you can fit 22XX mortars on there, and you get a much larger platform, which takes you to very close to, I have not actually calculated it, but right around 240 mil, 250 millimeter platform. And again, with no props in view once this is all on there. I'm going to have propellers in view of the camera with the smaller setup or the bigger setup. And then one of my concerns when I first looked at this, and I was looking at corners like this over here and then like this here, and I was very concerned about this being not, you know, up to par with the lifetime warranty for Armatan, and I was worried that basically guys would crash this and things would start breaking on this. But the way Andrew's designed this is that it's designed to be able to handle impact in just about any direction that comes at it, meanwhile remaining extremely rigid. And you know, whenever you impact any part of the frame, it's very difficult for any of this stuff to come apart or break without having a lot of other joints failing, because they all sort of add in to create a lot of strength on this. This is amazingly stiff for a 180 frame. It's like, it's way stiffer than the 180 Morphite, for example, right? Because obviously you've got thicker here with the center plates in this, and the arms being sandwiched together. And then another very cool advantage to this is that we now have the ability to take that top plate here and turning this into an integrated distribution board with this model, which is something that we can't do with a monoplate on the Morphite, current Morphite 180. But we do have the option to do this with this model, which is very nice. It allows for much cleaner builds and have more integrated, essentially, electronics on there to make for, you know, easier building, and like I said, cleaner finish. Now a couple other features I'd like to talk about this is, of course, the tilt mechanism here. Let's look at this bolt here, for example. This is all M2 stuff. You can see it sliding up and down that slide there. Well, this is basically our camera platform tilting up, back and forth here, and you can lock that up at any angle that you want and have it stay there. And this can also be set up with a servo, of course, where the camera would tilt as you operate the model. And I'm actually very impressed the way Andrew designed this. He's actually calculated the width and thickness of all the bolts used to put that together, and it basically fits together like a glove. What you've got is an array of different mounting options here for a small cam, which could be mounted closer to the front of the plate here, or all the way back to the actual mounting plate here. And then you've got the space for a Mobius camera on the bottom here, mounted to the bottom, which basically can tilt all the way up, well beyond what you need for flying aggressively, all the way to 90 degrees. And meanwhile, the entire thing is completely protected. So you can basically have a very small model, a very light footprint, a very small footprint, a very light design, using a Mobius camera, which is fully protected here on the bottom, and then also using a different camera for a live feed on top here, in many different options as well for that. And meanwhile, you can tilt it to whatever angle you want it, and it's just brilliant. And again, one of my reservations about this originally was like, I thought, okay, there's a lot of small parts involved here, and this thing is going to be you know, susceptible to breaking. But again, once you put that together, it's like this thing is incredibly stiff. I can do some demonstration here. I don't know if it's going to look fake or not, but put it this way, I'm going to hit this thing on my desk now as hard as I can, to the point where it's actually hurting my hand, to the point where the carbon fiber hitting the palm and my fingers and my hand is actually painful, and this thing will not budge. It's just, and I'll use different angles or whatever. And as you can see, there's nothing. There's not even a hint of any structural damage to this, or any failure, or any cracks. And my hand is sore now from doing this, and I've hit the arms, I've hit the front part on an angle, which I can do it. This is like, look at the marks. Let's try and get the camera closer and look at the marks in my mat here it's doing. It's actually chopping through the mat. And again, there's no structural damage to this. It's just, this is an amazing design from Andrew. I'm really blown away with how he's progressed with his ability to see all these parts and to make them come together, and meanwhile being so structurally sound like this. So this little guy here, you can expect to see that integrated on other designs coming up with Armatan. It's simply brilliant tilt design here. So you can expect to see that on other designs that we're going to come up with. And yeah, that's it, guys. This is the Morphite V2. There's been discussions about the name and what exactly we're going to call this model. Maybe the Morphite V2 may be called something else. We haven't quite decided about this yet. And then I've received this first, but Andrew should have this any day now. He will assemble this, and just like I do, once I'm able to hold something in my hands, you look at the little different things on there, and you may want to just change one thing here, one thing there. And I'm assuming Andrew will do that. And then once he's satisfied with, you know, with his final drawing for this, and once we work together and I'm happy with it, he's happy with it, these are likely to go into production, you know, within the next few weeks, 3 weeks or so. I believe Andrew will be racing this at the Nationals, Canadian Nationals in Ontario at the end of the month, the end of August as well. And I think he's going to be doing very well. There's, like I said, there's different options on this for power setups. Once you go with a really fast power setup on this thing is going to be a beast. It's going to be a beast because the thrust to weight ratio is insane. Meanwhile, this thing just can't be destroyed. It seems like you can cartwheel that thing to no end, and it's very, very difficult to break this thing. Natasha is filming this right now. She's like, stop making so much noise. It's late in the evening now. But yeah, you get the idea, guys. That's it. This is the little Morphite V2 or whatever name it's going to be. Stay tuned for more information. Great. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.